So are we doing an intro?
I wasn't planning on doing an intro, but this kind of seems like an intro.
So should we do this as an intro?
This is the intro,
All
isn't it?
right,
All
let's do it.
right. Awesome. So that was pretty creative, but something I noticed was that your company, Her Media Group, um, there seems to be a value of creativity there, and I would understand that that comes from like a personal value.
hmm
Is that the case? Are there any other values that kind of find their way into your company?
Yeah, so creativity is definitely like a big value for me personally. I feel like we're all creators in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
We create our own life. We create life of other people, having children, and then of course artists, mechanics, musicians, anything crazy. You're technically a creator, which is something that I do value a lot in Her Media Group. And I do hope that anybody in the future that I do have working next to me values it just as much.
Mm.
Any other values that I see important would be more of like doing it as a passion.
Mm.
I wouldn't want somebody to be a robot working and doing what I do. I see it more as a learning experience and to grow and that you like it. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
That's really cool. So it's a digital marketing and media company.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think, like, who do you think digital marketing is for? And where do you feel like it's underrepresented? Like, who could use it?
Yeah, so I definitely think digital marketing can be used for anybody, especially people who are starting a brand, a business, and things like that. Even people themselves who want to be micro influencers, influencers. You kind of do have to learn how to market in some way, whether it's social media, digital marketing, even building a website so everything can be in one specific spot for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Where I do think it is underrepresented right now, I think everybody's trying to work on social media but isn't fully optimizing it
Mm,
to their best abilities for them to benefit and see revenue.
definitely. And so optimizing social media usage, that's something that you guys special in, right?
Yeah, so that's basically what I do. No client that I have worked with didn't have any type of social media,
Okay.
or they had minimal, but never anything like not even having an account.
Mm,
So anybody who has an account already has a head start, and then it's just how to use it effectively.
definitely. So it's
hmm
like, it's something that you could learn along the way, but if you have a professional that can just take you
It
to the
just
next
boosts you
level.
up. It's like those courses that you take where you can definitely learn it off of Google and looking things up. But when somebody makes a course, they take those hours that you are going to be searching things up and take it and put it in one course for you to learn everything.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that actually, like where you got your knowledge for those media tactics. How instrumental has that knowledge been for you? Like, how has it taken you to like a further, level?
Yeah, so I like to say YouTube is my professor
Ah, yeah.
because it actually started, I would say in high school, just learning off of YouTube how to edit videos.
Mm,
I did have a YouTube account for a while and would just do vlogs, so that's kind of how I would learn how to edit, the best ways to do transitions and things like that. And then I started getting into social media more a little bit over a year ago, which I would help like local businesses, basically show a media presence.
definitely.
hmm
So, okay, there's a couple companies that, they do what you're doing, right? Why did you decide to start your own instead of, take those talents that you learned from YouTube and from your professors there, and start your own company?
I would definitely say some impact would be the basic be your own boss that everybody wants to be.
Uh,
But definitely, I honestly, if I were to get an internship or a job from Google, I would take it 100%
mm,
just because you can learn from such a big corporation and add value to everything that I want to continue doing.
definitely.
So it's not something that I wouldn't be a part of another marketing company. Um, that's a big corporation. As for smaller corporations, I would like to see it more as a partnership where we feed off of each other
Got
rather
it.
than being an employee.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
definitely kind of noticed that being a trend where it's like it looks like everybody's going to become an entrepreneur and they're going
Yeah.
to which kind of makes sense because robots are still taking over. Like
hmm
they'll be doing my job soon. Um, but yeah, I guess my next question is just like, what common like errors are you seeing in the field? and what kind of like missteps that her media group can solve uh, are you noticing?
That's a good one. So right now, what I'm mostly focusing on is realtors and real estate. I see, especially now that I'm working with a mortgage company and running their socials, that they work with a lot of realtors, and realtors all have social media, and it's like when it's difficult to find you on social media, or I can't
Mm,
even tell what you do as a profession. um, how am I supposed to choose you? So I've been working on a little course there for realtors to kind of start the basics and try to optimize the most out of Instagram, which would be video for them to showcase the houses and things like that.
that makes sense because like I feel like Instagram's the perfect platform. Like you just want to see pictures and pictures. You can swipe, you can see stories. But I noticed like all the realtors around, my Instagram, they just wear gray suits and then they say that they're a realtor in the bio, and that's
Yeah, and
it.
then it's a Photoshop picture, but it shows absolutely no personality or anything, and that's what you kind of need because why am I gonna choose David
Mm,
as my realtor over Phil,
mm,
So it's because I relate to David in some way, shape, or form, so I want to work with him. So adding personality.
totally, totally.
Hmm.
So like I guess you're kind of well set up, well put together when it comes to this field. You have the cameras, you have the lighting, as you can see here. You have all the equipment and you have all the knowledge. Is this something that you've always been kind of inclined towards, or did you notice or pick it up a little bit later on in life, like more recently, actually?
Um, like I said, YouTube is my professor. So in the beginning, it was mostly for fun. It would be mostly just for YouTube, and then
Mm,
I decided to kind of interpret it into like the business world and see where that would go. So my first ever client was actually, um, other than the mortgage company, was a restaurant.
okay.
And all I would do is I would take pictures, take videos, and post them, engage with people, network, which is something that I've learned recently. Well, when I first started with them was about a year and a half ago.
Mm,
But the difference between that now and then is just crazy because you really never stop learning. I mean, the internet just keeps growing and progressing. So there's just certain ways and things to do to better optimize your
definitely.
information. Yeah.
Yeah. Just on that same note, so like, what if what are the things that you've kind of run into that maybe you didn't anticipate, but they become kind of like a challenge? And on the same note, like, what has been like a pleasant surprise just while you're doing this creating your own business thing?
Yeah, so I would definitely say at first, at least in the beginning of this year, it was more of trying to get clients, so doing everything I had to do. And I feel like when you are starting your own business, you kind of mix the not the professional with the personal, but
You
you're
got to
trying
use
to
those connections,
yeah,
essentially.
you just kind of try to do the most, and people take advantage of you, especially when you don't
Mm,
know them. I was doing a lot of crazy things for free and
wow.
wasting my time and everything. So that's definitely the something I had trouble with in the beginning, and then now I would say kind of the most challenging thing is I'm not really sure. I would think it's more being consistent,
Mm,
especially with myself, because since I'm doing so many things for clients, I don't focus. I keep myself last, so her media group last, and then I keep my clients up to date. So just being more consistent with my own stuff.
kind of like a work-life balance, like
Yeah,
within that whole world.
definitely.
Do you feel like there's like momentum there that you kind of have to build on, or like with your clients, or do you feel like I have to just make everyone like the best one or better than the last? Because I noticed you said you want to keep like a consistent kind of basis,
Yeah.
but like that's gonna involve like moving people in and out and different things like that.
So I just try to be better every time. Not necessarily. I don't see optimization as seeing getting the most likes every post. I see
Mm,
it more as being consistent, engaging. There's people who send DMs all the time asking questions. You have to answer those questions. If not, people are gonna stop looking at your stuff. Because if you're not answering to the people that are potential clients
hmm.
and things like that, how do you expect for them to look at your information and like it?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, so just mostly that.
I would imagine. So like, what has been like maybe something that's a little bit more rewarding uh, about like having your own company? Maybe something that like obviously be your own boss is great, but is there anything else that you found that's like kind of like, oh, I didn't know it could be this good?
Yeah, it's definitely been a struggle. Be your own boss is not as easy as it sounds. I've definitely cried myself to sleep a few times, and stayed up late working, just to finish a project or finish something. But definitely the most rewarding thing, uh, not only with clients, more like with yourself, because I mean you're gonna see it as well.
Mm.
Once you start working on the grind. Um, just how much progress you're gonna make even from last month to this month, from 6 months to now. I look at my last work and I'm like, what was I thinking? This is terrible. And then now I'm like, I'm sure I'm gonna say that in December, once I see the stuff that I'm posting in October. So things
Definitely.
like that, just rewarding seeing that your hard work is paying off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this last one's kind of like a deeper question, if you will. But pretty much like I'm wondering about your why, right? And the reason I ask that is because sometimes somebody's why can manifest themselves in the form of a business or in the form of like some creative project. But do you feel like something deep down inside of you is kind of manifesting itself through her media group, or do you feel like it's coming from a natural ability that you have? And if so, what is that natural ability?
I think it does have to do a little bit with natural ability, but I'm a firm believer that hard work over uh, talent beats anything.
Mm.
You can be anything you want to be. Don't let people limit you. Dream big is what they say. I definitely think that even a year ago from now, when I was doing this, I didn't start her media group because I couldn't think of a name. So I decided to not start anything until I figured out a name. And it took me, I promise you, a year to think of a name, and I thought of it in 5 minutes. So, and I didn't even know this was something that I wanted to do,
Wow.
so it's kind of been crazy because you really never know what's gonna happen, but I feel like it worked out for the good, and in a way I didn't sort of manifest this because I bought all this gear and I just kept YouTubing, watching the videos, learning to see what works best, without even really knowing where it's gonna take me.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I noticed that people kind of do that, right? They'll like prep themselves all the way up for like success, and then they just don't take that step. Which
Yeah.
that step you don't even need all the equipment or anything like that
No, you, dude, right here,
on your
your
iPhone.
phone.
Yep.
This Apple phone that's $1,000, which can do it all.
Yeah,
So
totally. So that's super cool that you've been able to actually put it to work and really I think people can take away a lot from your journey because we've all kind of been there. Like we have that business idea that we just can't seem to manifest.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think I really appreciate your insight into like everything like that. So I just want to say thank you. And do you have any messages for anybody else that maybe they want to learn a little bit more about her media group?
Um, I can give some information about her media group, but I would rather give information that can help you guys.
Mm.
Even myself, sometimes I don't want to do something because I'm scared, and I feel like fear is such a strong indicator of what we decide to do
Mm.
and not do. So just do it. Nothing in the beginning is gonna be good. Like you have to suck in the
Mm.
beginning to get good. Like you're not shooting 3 pointers in the beginning of trying to play basketball. You're shooting right under the net and then practicing it until you start stepping back. So I feel like that's the best advice I can give anybody is just start. Nothing's gonna be good. It's gonna suck. I'll tell you right now, it's gonna suck. But guess what? In the next month, you're gonna suck a little less. As for her media group, I have a lot planned. Um, I definitely want to take it to the next level. But like I said, we're sucking a little right now, but we're gonna suck a little less in the future.
Definitely.
So yeah.
I mean that's totally awesome, and I think people should really rally behind that.
Yeah.
What I take away from that message is yeah, like it's not gonna turn out good, but it's always gonna be at like level one if you don't, start, if you don't play the game.
Yeah.
So, um,
You gotta go to practice to play the game, right?
yeah, we talking about practice,
Yeah.
man. So, yeah, so just thank you for this interview. I did have one last question for you.
Yeah.
Did you want to do an outro,
Is
or
this the outro?
I'm not sure if this is the outro or not, but if you want it to be the outro, this could be the outro right now.
Let's do it. So, thank you for tuning in. This is Raquel, part of her media group, and I have David here, who was nice enough to interview me, which who knows why, but he did it.
These things, so I'll give you guys some like bonus content really quick. Raquel and I, we've known each other since high school, and you know what happens. High school people kind of like they move away and different things like that. But one thing I noticed was that Raquel was the only person um, that was doing it. And when I say doing it, I mean like they were going all out with the business. They were selling themselves to it. Like it seemed like, she burned all the bridges behind her and then really went towards this business. So it's humbling to say something like this, but it's like she's been a huge inspiration. So I think you guys should definitely check out her profile. She has so much to give you for free. You can go on TikTok, you can go on Instagram, like whatever medium that you like, she's there. So
Thank you, man. I literally see it as we're doing the same thing. I don't see it as me doing any better. We're all equal. Like I said, just do the grind, and I'm still learning, and there's still people again that are gonna be doing it better than me. And just don't compare yourself to anybody, because if you start comparing yourself, you're never gonna start. So
definitely.
thank you again for having me on your first interview.
No, thank you. I think you're the perfect person for this. So yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in. I hope to see a lot more of you guys soon. I hope you guys get to see a lot more of me and Rax the creator, aka Raquel, founder of her media group. Yeah, so you guys,
Thank you. Tune in to David.
peace. No, tune into her.